Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Mum, Dad's Got Another Tattoo, the Midlife Crisis podcast. I am Mark. I am here with Richard. How you doing, Rich?
Not too bad yourself?
Yeah, all good. And we're here with a guest. We've got Dash Lilley from Three Spirit. And the reason we have invited Dash on is that we've spoken to a sobriety coach. I gave up drinking a year ago or so, as I hardly ever mention. And one of the things over that year I've been looking for, really, is an alternative to alcohol that's a sort of grown-up alternative. There's only so much sparkling water and Diet Coke you can drink over a year. So rather than me go on about it, I'd like to introduce Dash, who has actually done something about it. Welcome to the show, Dash. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Great to have you. So do you want to just introduce you and the company and your role? I believe you are Chief Alchemist.
Yes.
So
fantastic title. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. When you have a company, you can literally call yourself anything, and that is brilliant. I love it.
I like it.
I don't know if I coined it myself. In my defence, I might have been forced into that position by my wonderful, beautiful wife and business partner. But I'll take it. I'll take it. I do love the word alchemy and all that it kind of conjures up. But yeah, look, my name's Dash. I'm a co-founder at Three Spirit. What is Three Spirit? We make botanical elixirs. So that's a bit mad. But yeah, we plant potions for the modern world. And they are disguised as wonderful spirit alternatives. So we use the power of plants, active compounds, amazing extraction methods to get all of these amazing beneficial properties from various plants into a bottle, whilst trying to make them taste really interesting, hopefully overwhelm the senses rather than underwhelm, which often happens in the world of non-alcoholic drinks. I have a bit of a weird background. I used to work in the film business. I was in the camera department on feature films, and that was awesome for a while, but I then stumbled into starting a coconut water company, and that was in 2012.
How do you stumble into something like that?
From camera work.
I stumbled into being an accountant. I can understand that sort of route. Founding a coconut water business seems to be, there seems to be a jump rather than a stumble involved there.
Fair point. What's the best way to explain it? I tried to start a project whilst working in the film world, which was all about essentially like a Barocca type product, right? Like a soluble vitamin drink. Basically, on film sets, there's a who's there for safety reasons. They have to be there in case someone falls off a crane, breaks their arm, or whatever. Luckily, that doesn't tend to happen, but they're very, very, very busy dishing out Baroccas to a bunch of often big blokes in the electrical department or the grips or the camera boys who are all desperate not to get sick. And because it's close confines, you're working very closely, dense kind of working environment, colds, flus go around. So I had this idea basically. I was like, wow, it's incredible how desirable and effective the promise of something that has a functional attributes. This is going to boost your immunity. This is going to help you prevent you from getting sick. Anyway, so I went down this rabbit hole trying to explore how I could innovate around a Barocca type product that was ready to drink. And that led me on this weird path. I then met someone that became my business partner in coconut water. He was a crazy Australian called Charlie, who was obsessed with coconut water. And we just started doing it. It was a side hustle. So I was doing my day-to-day film work, and then we started this coconut water business at street food markets around London, around the UK, festivals. It was 2012, it was the beginning of the kind of coconut water boom. And it was kind of unexpectedly also one of the big early blockbuster functional drinks that hit the mainstream. And it was all about well-being and electrolytes and replenishments and performance, and became a lifestyle thing, everyone carrying around their coconut water. Yeah, so I just started realising I'm just on film sets banging on about coconut water. Maybe it's time to take it a bit more seriously. And And sporadically at that time, we got picked up by Whole Foods, and soon after Planet Organic and Ocado, and it became a serious thing. And I quit the day job and I started this coconut water business, and it taught me a hell of a lot. You know, on top of that, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, Patty, who's my business partner at Three Spirit, she had a very cool business called Bar Chick, which was a guide to the best cocktail bars in the world. So super cool. We had a lot of fun. She'd teach me a lot about cocktail culture. We'd go out a lot, go to amazing bars. I do drink, as you can maybe, I mean, I used to, I still do. But
I'm writing that down, Bar Chick.
Yeah, check it out. It was inspiring. What she did was really inspiring to me, as she had her own business, she had this cool team. And so I think that rubbed off on me, and I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind doing something myself. And so coconut water became the avenue to do that, and it taught me a lot.
And was that did you always want to do something alternatively to alcohol, or was that just an idea that came along at the right time and you've sort of captured the zeitgeist of some description?
So, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say I've always been really into functional ingredients, things that can give you something, whether that's some kind of boost, some kind of buzz, foods or drinks that can get you high. You know, alcohol is incredible, right? And most of our customers do drink alcohol. Many do not. But what we see is everyone wants to cut down. There's not that many people that are looking to increase their alcohol week, students, but most people are looking to find the balance. And so I've always loved this idea of like how we can find little hacks to find that balance, feel good, alternative ways to feel really good. You know, like, I'm not gonna lie, I've had a relatively hedonistic lifestyle. I like to go out, I like to have a good time, but you can't balance that equation for too long. It's not sustainable. So I think that there's a common demand from the consumer, whether you're 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, or older, to find ways to have pleasure without the pain. Yeah. That's the key. That's Three Spirit. Like, okay, where's the pleasure without the pain? And I think that resonates with people. That's what I like, and that's what inspired and created this kind of momentum around building Three Spirit.
And how difficult is it, obviously, in the food and drinks industry? So I imagine there's numerous hoops to be jumped through. I mean, I'm sure it's not like the famous scene from Only Fools and Horses with the Peckham Spring, where you're getting it from your tap, and then a person from Southwark Council comes around with a clipboard, ticks a box, and away you go. How difficult is it to go from, say, idea to Whole Foods? You know, how does that happen?
Yeah, good question. It's depends how you begin, and I think that the way that we begun Three Spirit was very experimental. We're definitely deliberately trying to push the boundaries. We were working with weird and wonderful ingredients. Some of them don't like to behave. You know, whether that means that there's lots of sediment in a bottle, or the colour is maybe not as beautiful as it would be if you weren't trying to create something that had real functional efficacy. So one of the main challenges is when you're trying to create a truly effective functional liquid that has enough, you know, tangible feelings attached to it, you might be using ingredients that are hard to work with. Sometimes they might be hard in terms of their regulatory position, like they might not be permitted to use in food and drink in certain markets, countries. So you've got to navigate what you can and can't do. And maybe when we began at the very beginning, we did this amazing kind of like, you know, exploration into the world of ingredients, where we would guinea pig ourselves, guinea pig small little groups of friends and family or other consumers to get feedback, try and figure out what we could get behind in terms of flavour, but also how effective they were on feelings. That was our starting point. So to answer your question, what that meant is that we maybe went down a path that was extra complicated to then scale commercially. But we launched our first product, which was called Social Elixir, when we launched in 2019. It's still on the market. Mark, you're drinking it now. It's now called Social. It's been cleaned up a little bit over the years. So when we first launched, this product was, you know, and we launched direct to consumer, so online. we'd have a lot of people that were like all over it. They loved it, plant potions. And then we had some people like, wow, what is this shit? It's like pond water, or it's like swamp juice. I'm pouring it down the sink. And you're like, fair enough, yeah. It's kind of a weird brown liquid. So, but we were proud of that, right? Because we wanted to be something that was different and that clearly spoke to, hey, this is kind of a weird, interesting potion. Therefore, it should make you feel a bit like, ooh, I don't know about this, but I kind of like it. So I forgive
That is exactly my reaction.
Yeah, I forgive it for not being squeaky clean and polished, because that's not what we wanted to create. We wanted to create something that had genuine, like, stickiness and real body and texture and lots of raw material in the liquid, rather than just something that was a flavoured water made to look like a spirit, which I think there's a lot of products out there that can be critiqued in that way. And so we knew we had to like fight against that.
Well, I've got a question about that, because I'm sure you wear the scars of that particular decision, because when you are making a non-alcoholic drink that's meant to be an impression of an alcoholic drink, like a zero Guinness, or you can get gins and all sorts of different spirits, you've kind of got an anchor to, you know, we know what we want it to taste like, we know what we want it should look like, and that lack of choice is actually a benefit, I guess. You for your sins, to coin a phrase, you must have had this like complete blank slate, which of course has its own challenge, because if you have like a million possible variations, how do you end up with, you know, the one that you ended up with? Was there just like so much experimentation at that beginning stage, or did you have an idea of the stuff that you wanted in it, the effect that you wanted it to have?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, look, this is like, that's the big question. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, kind of thing. The easier path is definitely to replicate and be a non-alcoholic version of something that is very familiar. So that explains why the early products that came to market, and still, a lot of the mainstream, just spirits, let's just think about spirits, are going to be a non-alcoholic Gordon's gin, or a non-alcoholic whiskey variant, or things that people understand. The way that we imagined this product line and range was always occasions. So you've got like traditional drinking occasions, and we, believe it or not, we're well versed. Humans, like culturally, alcohol is such a big integral part of our culture in this part of the world that people generally know when it's time to have a pint versus a whiskey, or a glass of wine, or an aperitif versus a digestif. You know, there's all of this code and rules built into the culture of alcohol. And so what we found really interesting is, can we tap into those traditional drinking occasions? And what we did is we created a product range, Livener, Social, and Nightcap, which is essentially the beginning, middle, and end of your drinking adventure or your evening. Now, of course, it doesn't work exactly as formulaic as that, but that's how we design the product. So they're designed for occasions based in time, but also the feelings that you want in those occasions. So Livener, beginning of the evening, it's stimulating, it's uplifting, it's vibrant, it's caffeinating. It's going to wake you up. It often is a great replacement for, okay, you've been working all day, it's pre-dinner, maybe you've got some guests coming round, you need a drink. Right? You need something to change the game. You're exhausted. You've got no chat, but you need a pick-me-up. Bang, there's a drink that is going to be an excellent alternative to a gin and tonic or a beer, and it hits the spot and it does what that alcoholic drink, what you want that drink to do for you, it's doing without alcohol. Then you've got Nightcap, for instance. As the name suggests, it's for the end of the evening, and it's full of relaxing botanicals and extracts, things like valerian, lemon balm, hops, ashwagandha, and it's a slow sipper, really easy to enjoy just on the rocks. So it's similar to a whiskey in how you'd enjoy it, but it doesn't taste like that. But it's solving a really good problem for you. It's a satisfying drink for the end of the day or night that's going to help you avoid alcohol. Even if you've been drinking up until that moment, maybe it's a good time to avoid that last drink of the night. And it's going to help you sleep well, or like prepare for a good night's sleep. So that's the way that we design the products, and that's what's resonated with the consumer. It's like, okay, this is useful for me at this time, rather than, oh, I want something that tastes exactly like vodka or exactly like gin or exactly like whiskey. To step back, like you mentioned Guinness Zero, and like the entry point, and I'm amazed, I love it. You know, this is your target demographic, I guess, for this podcast is, you know, a lot of beer drinkers, a lot of beer drinking guys that, guess what? It's amazing the uptake to non-alc beer in recent years. And there's some really good brands, whether it's Lucky Saint that's available in most pubs now, it's poured on draft. It's like on most menus. You've obviously got the big blockbusters like Heineken Zero that advertise billions of pounds and football, World Cup and Champions League, whatever. Guinness, the daddy, you know, an excellent, excellent product. They're able to succeed really well, and they're the brands and products that can convince quite a skeptical audience to take non-alc seriously. And they're able to do a really good job because beer is generally a low ABV product, 5%, let's say, 4%. So you're not having to try and compete and replace the feeling of high alcohol. It's more flavor and texture. There's a lot of bad products out there, but there's some good ones. And so Lucky Saint, Guinness Zero especially, it's all about texture. That velvety texture, really satisfying, bang. And so that's done a really good job helping us, even though we're weird and obscure. Once people understand, oh, I like that non-alc beer, I could actually do that. I wonder what else is out there. And so it's like a stepping stone to us. And then it's like, wow, I didn't even think about function, like something that could make me feel good. That's like a next level. So we generally find that it's an advantage to be non-imitation. The last thing I'll say on it is I would argue that why be a poor imitation of something? Why imitate something that you can never be, okay?
Yeah.
And this is especially true. I wouldn't make that argument with beers because of what I just said. They can get close enough that they actually do a very good job imitating the real thing. But with spirits, with high ABV liquids that are 40% alcohol, trust me, there's nothing like ethanol. It's a unique property. But if you can offer interesting, unexpected flavor profiles and this nice benefit of a feeling or a welcomed, functional benefit, then people are interested. And it becomes something that can become habitual. It's like, oh, I like that. I'm actually going to have that in my house all the time.
And I suppose it's opening people's minds up, as you say, to a function. It's a non-alcoholic drink that will benefit you in similar ways to what you want to get from alcohol. But as you say, something to help you wind down at the end of the night, I think is a fantastic idea also, and something to pick you up beforehand also. I would say I would definitely try that. Let's see what it does.
That's what we see from our customers. They might be hesitant at first, especially men. Maybe men are a bit more hesitant to this idea of like well-being and so on. But I mean, like the point being, I think the non-alc beer world has just broken down the doors for men of all ages to understand that non-alcoholic drinks can be really useful. I think a lot of people are also, the term is zebra striping now. It's like you might have a normal beer followed by a non-alc beer and then go back to the normal beer, and you might do the same with non-alc spirits. You might have wine at dinner but then have a nightcap afterwards, or a livener before dinner, wine with dinner. So it's just allowing people to have more choice rather than, shit, I've got to drink more alcohol than I'd actually like because there's not much choice, and now I've done it again. I've drunk more than I wanted to, and I'm going to feel the pain.
Yeah, I think you'll probably be pleased to know that's basically the route that I took to Three Spirit, is that. So I decided to stop drinking just for health reasons. I still have to put that caveat in to stop. I wasn't on a bit of waste ground at 10 a.m. with white lightning. Don't know why I have to qualify that, but it's that weird cultural thing that we have. But then it's like, what am I going to drink? I've had like non-alcoholic cocktails, which are just, first of all, they cost a fortune, and they're just like a bit of strawberry juice with like a bit of cream on top. But I'm looking for something that you just don't drink quickly. Now, with the Lucky Saint I've had like that, Guinness Zero, I've never been a big Guinness drinker, but I've probably drunk more Guinness Zero than I have the real stuff. And that real stuff, even that is a weird thing. It's more the sort of aesthetic of it, where, you know, you meet up in a pub. Like, what do you want in your hand? You kind of want a pint. And then, because Guinness Zero is so, like, visually indistinguishable from... It takes away that, oh, you're not drinking thing away from it. And I don't want it to be a conversation piece. Like, I don't want it to be part of my identity. I still sort of cringe a little bit when someone says, Mark doesn't drink. I don't want it to be a thing, and those drinks really help with that. But at the same token, I do miss getting pissed. It's just it's the other side of it, like the cost benefit of it. I don't want anymore. Right? I miss getting pissed. I don't miss having a hangover, and I'm looking like maybe 2 hours of feeling like I want to feel, followed by 2 days of not feeling like it. And it has loads of other implications to things that I want to do as well. But I've had things like Trip, which I think has got CBD in it. Yeah. And I guess where I'm at the moment is that how much of an effect does this stuff actually have? I know if I have, say, 3 or 4 vodkas, I know at some point I'll start to feel a bit buzzy, a bit pissed, sure. And I'm familiar with that journey. But now I'm not sure, because first of all I don't drink enough of it. I guess at the moment I had like a couple last night. Like, what am I meant to be feeling?
Yeah, good question.
Anything like tangible? Is it just working in the background there?
I'd like to think so, as in tangible. The way I would answer that is everyone's different. Now, alcohol, undeniably intoxicating, of course. There's no doubt, it's affecting your nervous system. But even alcohol will affect people very differently. Some people will get pissed off one drink and just, that's it. And some people might drink 10 pints and be like, wow, I didn't even know you're drinking. So we are weird organisms that react to different things in different ways. And that goes as far as caffeine. Some people are intolerant of it and it'll send them doolally, and some people could just drink espressos all day long and sleep like a baby. So I would say that we have 3 different products with 3 different feelings, and it's a bit subjective. I think that Livener is an undeniably functional drink that will get you buzzed. I dare you to drink a half bottle of it and tell me you're not feeling it. But even after 1 or 2 drinks, you should be feeling it. The way that we developed and formulated all of our drinks is we've got efficacious doses, enough of the key ingredients to give you a feeling after 1 to 3 drinks. So 3 drinks is like your full active dose of these key functional ingredients. Now, Livener has caffeine. It's got something called L-theanine in it, which also comes from green tea. It's got ginseng, it's got adaptogens in it. I won't bore you with all of but it will have an effect. We've done studies where it will increase response time. It will boost mood. So we've done studies, but again, it will all it's subjective. So how does it make you feel? Well, it will depend on when you drink it, how much you drink. Are you in good company? Are you alone? Are you have you had a meal? Are you on an empty stomach? Similar stuff to alcohol. Social, what you're drinking at the moment, is the most nuanced. Nightcap and Livener are easy to explain. One's an upper, one's a downer, right? It's like this one's going to take you up.
I imagine social's the tricky one.
Social's a little bit weird. It's a social lubricant. Now, alcohol does a very good job acting as a social lubricant. And that's what we tried to do with social. So we used plants, we did a lot of research to reverse engineer how alcohol affects the nervous system, how it's triggering our pleasure receptors, dopamine, GABA, serotonin. These are like our reward sensors, which is why it's so addictive, right? It's like, oh, I need it. Even to the point where it's not good for you, but I need it anyway, because it's triggering those pleasure receptors. We went out and found plants and compounds, natural compounds, that could trigger or stimulate those same receptors. Not as intensely as ethanol, but yes, they're triggering the same thing. So social is the elixir in our range that affects me the most. Even though it's the hardest to explain, it makes me feel a little bit floaty, a little bit like just a bit buzzed in the body and the mind, and it lasts for about half an hour. Nightcap is super mellow and relaxing, and we've got thousands of customers that report that it helps them sleep and improves their sleep quality. And so it's subjective, but we have lots of qualitative information from our customers that are using it and getting what they need from the product. But I'd be lying to you if I said, yeah, I mean, you drink a bottle of that, you're going to fall flat on your ass. Like, that's not how they're going to work.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I suppose they're not meant to work like that. They're an alternative to do something similar but different, right?
Yeah. I mean, they say about alcohol, and it really resonated with me the first time I heard it, is obviously with the dopamine hits and the dump you get, you're borrowing happiness from tomorrow, because ultimately you wake up and you feel terrible the next day.
I like that. I love that. I'm going to use that.
Ultimately, that's why you wake up, you feel terrible, you're miserable, you're borrowing tomorrow's happiness. That is the chemical reaction. And if you can find something such as this, I mean, I can tell you now, as Mark knows me, I have one of each in my shopping basket at the moment. I will be trying those, but and if you can find something to give you that on a more natural and stable level, then it's a win for everyone.
Yeah, that's how I chose the social one. So I don't really like caffeine or caffeinated products. I'm one of the people that reacts, well, I wouldn't say react badly, but I'm very sensitive to it. So if I have a Diet Coke after 3:00, I'll probably have a tough night's sleep. That's my... Okay. Right, so I didn't want that. And then I didn't want the nightcap because falling asleep's absolutely no problem whatsoever. Towards the end of the day, maybe the opposite thing. And so I lighted on the social one, and it's sort of like the whole experience for me gave me exactly what I wanted. Literally, from smelling, like you open it up, you smell it, and it's not a sweet. It's when you smell like an alcoholic spirit, there is a sort of a definite scent that you're getting, but also you may recoil from it a little bit. There was a kind of reaction to that, because what I'm looking for is a drink that can be savoured and sipped and enjoyed across a longer period of time. Because I've found that the soft drinks that I drink, just like I'm a bit thirsty, I've got some there, and I'll drink it all in one go because I'm satisfying a need. Whereas what I actually want is something to have in my hand or next to me throughout, while I'm watching a film with my wife, or on Sunday we'll be together, and I just want to have something that isn't immediately like consumable. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And you said it earlier, something that you can sip, something that slows you down, right? And what you're talking about is so important. It's the ritual. Yeah. And it's what I was talking about earlier, that we don't need to learn these things because we're exposed to alcohol our whole lives. We're taught about it from our grandparents, parents, just we absorb it naturally. We see people drinking all over the place, and it's the ritual that is very important. One thing to mention, when we pre-launched, we did a lot of research, and I became fascinated with the work of this amazing psychologist called Robin Dunbar, who's a professor at Oxford University. And a lot of his work is about connections, friendships, how many real friendships a person is able to have, and how important they are for happiness and mental well-being and mental health, and to avoid loneliness. And then bringing all of that back to how important the pub is to the community, and how important therefore alcohol is to bringing people together. And we were like, hang on a sec, this is no shit. Alcohol is amazing at, helping people socialize, breaking down inhibition, being a social lubricant. But what's really interesting is actually it's the coming together, it's the slowing down, it's the ritual, it's the sharing of a drink, more than just it being alcoholic. And so it's like, can you create something that's worth slowing down for? Pouring yourself a drink, meeting up with mates, or having a moment at home, creating a cocktail, and something that you're going to enjoy, indulge in, because that's what's really important. We're human beings that need indulging. We need comforts. Like, life is hard. The human condition is like crazy. We're all going mad, but we all need little outlets, ways to just change the vibe, whether that's exercise, whether that's alcohol, whether that's a really good night's sleep, whether it's watching a movie and escaping to another world. We're creatures of comfort, and we need these things, but they don't always need to be alcoholic. So that was the feeling of, hey, let's create something that can be a really interesting alternative, a true alternative. And I would argue that to be a true alternative to booze in the spirits world, you can't just look like the thing. You can't just taste like the thing. It needs to offer this third thing, this third way of drinking, of socializing. It's not alcohol, it's not non-alc, it's something else. It's a botanical elixir that gives you something that you need.
The demise of the pub as a social space, I think this is just a bit of, kitchen sink philosophy or social commentary, has helped usher in the age of division that I think we're in, because we can all find communities at the moment, and those communities are online. I guess the danger is that you end up creating these echo chambers of all people that agree with you, and then every now and then you come into contact with someone who doesn't agree with you, and you have a row, and you both get more entrenched in your own position, and then you leave because it's all done online. Whereas the pub as a social space, I'm sure people with different political and social views mix, and then at some point they come to the surface, and you've got Bob in the corner who thinks that the moon landings were faked and what have you, but then he's got another a self-regulating community of people who say, like, well, what about this, that and the other? And you may not convince that person that they're wrong, but you are more tolerant, I think, of other people's views. You're more willing to accept that somebody who does have a different view to you isn't a prick who shouldn't be spoken about and needs to be owned on the internet in public.
It's not just words on a screen, though. It's a
exactly.
person in front of you, and that's the most essential part of it.
Yeah, and so, but there are members of my own family that I've got really deep political differences with, but we can put that aside very easily because of our family bond and shared history. And I think you used to have that more in social settings, and the lack of that and the demise of that has helped. I wouldn't say it's the sole determinant, but has helped usher in whatever this societal dynamic we have at the moment, where someone's a liberal or a Tory or a socialist, or all these labels are much more defining in a way that they shouldn't be. And I don't know how we get that back, really. I'm not saying that Three Spirit and drinks like it are the vanguard of. It would be great if they were, but I just, I'm not sure you can put the toothpaste back in the.
You can't do everything, but I'm with you. It's just the importance of coming together for a drink is universal. I think that's what's true and inspiring, and it would be a shame to avoid public situations or social situations, which a lot of people that don't drink have to do, right? It's like, oh no, I'm not going to that social event because I'm going to be I'm not there's anxiety there, or I don't want to be around alcohol, or I don't have the confidence without a drink to socialise.
And being ridiculed and questioned also. People will say, why aren't you had a drink?
And so, not trying to pretend like we're saving the earth or anything, but I do get a lot of encouragement when we have a lot of customers that will tell us, I've been looking for something because I do struggle to go to social events since I've stopped drinking, and this has helped me. When I have this in my pocket, or I take it to a party, or I take it, this brings me back in the room. I'm back in the room. I feel like I can turn up and be myself. And that's amazing. That's amazing to hear. We've got such amazing, weird and wonderful customers. I've met some of them who literally will pour social elixir in a hip flask and smuggle it into a restaurant. or they'll have a bottle in the car always. Because there's a lot of social anxiety out there. I think that's what you're talking about, Mark, is like online social networks and the downward spiral of humankind because of just staring at screens all day long and bad news all day long. It's having its effect, together with the fact that people are drinking less, people are trying to be healthier. Yeah, it's like, well, you need something. You need something up your sleeve to help you be sociable.
Yeah, I didn't think I did need anything to be sociable, and that was one of the things that prompted me to stop as well, is that I'm a outgoing character, not backwards and coming forward. Not drinking will not impact my social engine whatsoever. However, over Christmas, it was the first Christmas period, towards the end, like I went to a few parties, and one of them I just thought, do you know what, I just can't, I haven't got the energy to get involved in this. And I left reasonably early. I don't think I was particularly missed. But that was the first time I thought to myself, I haven't got the energy for this. And it used to be the ground that I really like. A party where I only knew a few people, and then by the end of it I knew loads of people. And I have been able to do that over the past year, but that was the first time I thought to myself, do you know what, fuck this, just can't be bothered. And so to discover something with the potential of that is great. And I say potential because what is a drink anyway? I mean, I was treating it like a spirit, so I put some ice in a glass, I covered the ice, and is that enough, or should I be drinking pints of it?
No. So a drink, our recommended serve is 50 ml, so that's like a double shot, right?
Yeah.
A double shot in this country where we still serve these little thimbles of spirits in 25 mils, but no. So 50 ml should be enough to get you going. And with social, the kind of recommended simple serve, or the way to drink it, is I'd mix it with ginger ale. Squeeze
I had it with ginger ale.
Yeah, and it's a nice drink, but like I said, you could definitely have 2 or 3. It's funny because we're a UK brand originally, right? We launched in London. I live in London, but we then launched in the US. So I've got 2 co-founders. One is my wife Tati, and the other Mita, who's in New York. So yeah, it's one of the challenges is trying to make sure when you're in this uncharted space without it having too many familiar cues. Is like, how much should I drink?
There's no blueprint there, is there? There's no 100-year blueprint.
We try to signal, and we're in a lot of amazing bars and restaurants where you put our product in the hands of a bartender and they can create amazing things.
Yeah.
But that's what they are. They're base spirits that can be versatile because you can make infinite drinks with them. But we're proud that you can actually enjoy them all neat because they taste nice on their own. Whereas a lot of non-alc spirits, actually you can't drink them that way, and they rely on a mixer. For us, like Livener is an amazing thing to shoot. It's a bit spicy, it's fruity, it tastes good, but it will kind of wake you up and wake the palate up. And there's some bartenders that will drink that as a pre-shift shot because they're not drinking booze on the job. And that's, a lot has changed in the world of hospitality, Working in hospitality used to be, you're drinking a lot of alcohol. You're exposed to drinking drugs, and I think there's a big, movement to a healthier hospitality industry where it's not uncommon now to find amazing bartenders that don't drink. They really like what we do because we're offering a real interesting solution. They still want to make amazing drinks. They still love working with flavor, but they're done with alcohol. And again, we're a brand that celebrates the good things about alcohol, but we just want to create interesting toolkit for the drinker, so you've got options.
I mean, we have a.
Go ahead, Rich.
I mean, we have a get together. As you were saying about the social aspect, we have a get together this weekend. A group of friends. We get together once a year, and it's this weekend. Every year, we come from all over. We get an Airbnb. We go out. But as you say, Mark will be. What have you got with social?
Yeah, I've got the social, which I tried out last night, and I'm looking forward to it actually. Cause
I'm really looking forward to it, and as I say, I'm going to be ordering the range, and I'm really looking forward to trying them. And it'll be interesting with our group of friends to see what they think as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably right in the bang in the middle where I think people are, we've got young kids and responsibilities, work, and you want to be able to switch off from that, but also switch back on pretty quickly as well. And it's the switching back on, I guess, that has always been the issue with just boozing. Yeah. I found it so the flavour wise, my wife had a bit as well, and she said it's really, I don't want to come across all MasterChef wanky here, but it is really complex, and I don't mean that as it is one of those things where it's not like a sugar rush where you think, you can sit. It's just really, there's a number of flavours that come through in order, if you like. I feel it's quite earthy, and it just doesn't have, as I say, that I didn't want to down the whole lot in one go, which is a compliment. That's exactly what I was looking for. And then I put a bit of ginger ale in it. I like the ginger as a mixer to some of these non-alcoholic stuff because it's got just a little bit of spice. I could do with a little bit extra actually, but just to like,
you could use
I'm not
a little extra.
Is that a little bit? I've never had ginger beer.
Ginger beer tends to be spicier and sweeter.
Fiery.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that is the sort of thing. You want an edge to it that, the combination of those definitely gave it. But I couldn't say for sure what the impact was emotionally. Did I feel better like later on in the evening? I can tell you that I definitely did. But I'm not yet in tune enough to say, oh, that was the reason, because it was the end of the day. Yeah, we had something on the telly.
Keep experimenting and get back to me. I'm keen to know, but I think I love how you're approaching it. It's wonderful to hear you talk about it and picking out the kind of flavor experience. And I want you to try the others, and I want to know how you feel about those, because it's so important. Like, the feeling starts from way before you ingest the liquid. All right, like, in some ways we choose with our eyes, like we eat with our eyes. So the way that the bottle looks, or the packaging, or the color profile, our bottles have different triangles on them pointing in the direction of travel. So Livener has an upward pointing triangle that's going to take you up, and Nightcap is pointing down, and Social's pointing forwards. They're very subtle, but there's little visual cues. And then the way that the liquid looks and tastes is the beginning of how it wants to make you feel. So, like, Livener is spicy, is fruity, it's vibrant, it's uplifting on the palate. And then you've got Nightcap that has all of these dry spices, so it's got more like Szechuan pepper, numbing the mouth a little bit, cooling. It's got this nice long length, you feel it going down your chest, like a bit like an alcohol burn. And so they're trying to impact the palate in a way that is trying to trigger the feelings that the active compounds are going to deliver. But it's all subtle. It's a subtle thing.
Now I want us to try the whole range. So I've placed that. Hopefully we're not leaving till Sunday. Fingers crossed, if it's here in time, we will give you a full breakdown on the whole range.
This is this weekend, your retreat.
Yeah. So
a gentleman retreat. Me and my boys, we call them gentleman retreats.
Well,
that sounds good. The other halves can't really argue with that. Yeah. Sorry, you've got a gentleman's retreat coming up.
We have come together over an affection for NFL, and this weekend is the championship weekends. For those that don't know, that's like semi-final of the Super Bowl, and so the last game will go off at 4:30 in the morning. So the Livener will be.
I can imagine we'll be getting through that. Yeah.
Perfect.
And so if people do want to buy it, where is it available? Can you just buy it on your website, or is it elsewhere?
So we deliver very fast and wide, so come to threespiritdrinks.com and you'll find us. But you can also find us on Ocado, Majestic. We are in places like Selfridges if you're in town in London. But you'll find us in we're on menu in Young's pubs. So you'll probably spot us in a few pubs. Always worth checking your local pub. And if they don't have it, ask for it. And that might trigger them to get it on the menu, which would be great. But no, the best places to find us is Ocado, Majestic, or direct to our website in terms of nationwide.
Okay, we'll put links to all that stuff in the description.
And hopefully more retailers to come soon.
I hope so too. I mean, I'm really excited by the development of this particular market and this niche within that market as well. So I wish you all the best.
This has been great. It's good to talk to you guys. I can't wait to hear how you get on with the NFL for the weekend. But yeah, thanks for having me. It's great.
No, it's been a pleasure.
Right, brilliant. Thanks for being on. It's been great to talk to you. We'll report back.
Definitely.
Live. Yeah. Real time if you want. But Dash Lilley, Chief Alchemist of Three Spirit, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.